One of the areas that to me is really fascinating is diet and nutrition, because we have these two extremes. We have a fixation on diet in people and individuals who are anorexic or bulimic on the one hand, and yet the United States and the world as a whole has obesity as the major public health epidemic of our time. How do we reconcile these two problems is our challenge. And there are a few observations about nutrition and diet. Let's be a bit iconoclastic here. And the reality is most diets are fad diets. They have no basis in biochemistry. They tell you different and conflicting information. They're so extreme that you can't really stay on them for a long period of time. And by and large, they're based not on science. They're based on someone's impressions of what may or may not be good, and are usually extreme diets that are dangerous and in fact don't last very long. The other thing about diets, fad or otherwise, that is fairly obvious, which is every diet works. So how can that be? If there are all of these different diets and they're all fads, how do they work? It's because you're paying attention to what you're eating. When you pay attention to what you eat, when you make diet, bring it into awareness, you realize you're eating too much. You realize you're eating too fast. You realize you're eating between meals. You realize that you're over-consuming alcohol and high sugar substances. So diets endure for as long as you pay attention. That's why when you go off the diet and you stop paying attention, weight gain is back. So the reality is it's not really a matter of extreme management of calories, although we need to have modest proportions. So given all of that background, to me there is one thoroughly researched diet that has the most evidence that it will work, and it's based on real science, and that's called the Mediterranean diet. This was discovered essentially by Dr. Walter Willett, who's chairman of public health at the Harvard School of Public Health. His research was in cardiovascular disease, a very eminent cardiologist. And what he realized is that if you look at the Mediterranean and Europe and go north, that around the Mediterranean you have a certain diet and you have very, very low incidence of heart disease. As you go further north, the diet changes and you get this perfect gradient until when you get to the Scandinavian countries in the far north, you have extremely high heart disease incidence, sometimes 10 to 12 times higher than the countries that are in the southern part of the Mediterranean. And that's what gave basis to what is known as the Mediterranean diet. It's what do we know about the common elements. So you may not want to have a pure Mediterranean diet, but I really do think that if you're looking for a diet that's based on research evidence, that's doable, that you can use to modify any diet that you have in a more healthy direction, this is just about the only one that fits that particular. So it's an evidence-based, science-based diet. So let's just go through 10 common elements that are easy to do. You can do this collectively and have a Mediterranean diet, or you can simply do a few of them and modify the diet that you have. One is all of them have a high intake of whole grains, unrefined carbohydrates, so whole grain breads. You do not want white flour, you do not want highly refined foods or white rice. So have it be grains and unrefined foods. That's item number one. Secondly, to have an intake of deeply colored fruits and vegetables. The deeper the color, the better. The more color means the higher the antioxidants. Antioxidants protect the cells against damage. So you want things like carrots, tomatoes, pumpkin. For fruits, you want cherries and grapes, those sorts of things. So if you focus on getting more deeply colored fruits, deeply colored vegetables, that's another characteristic. A third is really salads. Salads are a powerful element in the diet, which actually removes the oxidizing acids from foods. And increases the amount of potassium in your diet. Now, potassium is good, and potassium simply means bananas, salads are high in potassium. What potassium tends to do is it produces a more alkaline blood. Alkaline blood is good because it buffers the excessive acids that we tend to consume in our diets. Our diets are very acidic. You can get a little acidic monitor paper, litmus paper, and touch it to your tongue. And you will find that probably 90% of the time, people in the United States will test with high blood acidity. That means high inflammation, which is a problem in many diseases. So what we want to do is push our diet in a more alkaline or base direction. And salads are a very, very easy, potent way to do that, as are deeply colored fruits and vegetables. And the fourth element is to have a higher vegetable fat, monosaturated fats. So this would be found in olive oil, avocados, polyunsaturated fats like soybean and flaxseed. Those are okay. What you really need to avoid are trans fatty acids from frying, from butter per se, but to go toward the monosaturated fats in salad dressings and use in cooking. Our fifth characteristic of the Mediterranean diet is moderate alcohol consumption. It means just that. It's approximately 2 glasses of wine a day. And it turns out that red wine is probably the best of moderate alcohol consumption. It's the most common in the Mediterranean diet, and it contains the most amount of antioxidants. Plus, the alcohol actually boosts the good cholesterol in your blood. So it is possible to have moderate alcohol and have it be a health benefit. 6 really are legumes or beans. Those kidney, garbanzo beans, when you couple beans with rice, you get a complete protein. And one has X number of amino acids and the other has the complement of those amino acids. So you don't have to eat protein in order to have a high protein content diet, which is really excellent. A 7th are nuts. Nuts are high in the monosaturated or positive fats. They're also high in vitamin E. And they have more antioxidants and folate than virtually any other food sources. So walnuts, almonds, so supplement the diet with nuts is really very useful. The next is that the main protein, if a whole protein is eaten in the Mediterranean diet, it's fish. So there's much less red meat, much less pork, much less poultry even. What you really want are the deep ocean, cold water, free-swimming fish. They're high in omega-3s. And omega-3s are a fatty acid which is very positive. It's a powerful antioxidant. So you're getting your protein and you're getting a powerful antioxidant. So generally you want to bake and broil in terms of preparation, not to fry, because then you're defeating the whole purpose. The 9th are really fruits, especially those that are blue and purple. So blueberries, grapes, oranges, apples, and cherries. These are highest in antioxidants, and some supplements that you're hearing about now contain derivatives of these. So you want deeply purple or blue fruits are really very, very, very powerful. And the last is to reduce salt and sugar to as minimal as possible. Sugar is empty calories. It can increase the risk for diabetes, and salt does induce hypertension. So if you try to eliminate all salt and sugar, it's just about impossible, but you can eliminate it as an additive. And eliminating those two things can reduce calories, improves your diet.